You made it. Good. Let's talk. Hello there, I'm Simon. Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is more Avatar. No one ever says it like that. Why do I say it like that? Anyway, I'm talking about The Last Airbender again. Obviously. Did anyone actually think I was talking about the blue guys? Unless they're talking about awards or box office or 3D technology, no one's ever talking about the blue guys. But that's beside the point. Because what I'm talking about today is a true identity of Kuzon. What if I told you that Kuzon is actually the Avatar? Okay, seriously though. If you've seen the show, if not, spoiler alert, you have been warned. You will know that this kid is of course Aang, the titular Last Airbender, the Avatar in disguise. He uses it to infiltrate the Fire Nation, and as they do, he shows some antiquated Fire Nation customs. He also adapts the pseudonym of Kuzon, and that's what I want to talk about, because Aang says that he took that name after an old Fire Nation friend he had before his hibernation. But there is a theory that says that we might actually know exactly who this Kuzon was. According to a Reddit post by someone called Obversa, there is reason to believe this Kuzon might in fact be none other than Firelord Azulon. Yeah, that guy. The one crazy Princess Azula was named after. The one who told Ozai to kill his son. But let's have a look at the evidence, shall we? This theory hinges mostly on the fact that Aang just so happens to be friends with Bumi, who would later end up King of Omashu. Now, unless Omashu suffered a coup after Aang disappeared, Bumi would have probably been in line for the throne already. So if he was friends with the Crown Prince of Omashu, it's not unlikely that he was also friends with the Crown Prince of the Fire Nation. In fact, the theory specifies that this friendship was probably set up by the Order of the White Lotus in order to prepare Aang for his future Avatar duties, and probably to give him a head start in diplomacy. Now, the theory actually states that the friendship was foreshadowed by the friendship between Sozin and Roku, and by everyone's favorite episode, The Great Divide, where Aang claims to have known the ancestors of these tribes as kids, foreshadowing Aang knowing his own enemy as a kid. I actually doubt that this was an intentional foreshadow, but I guess it's possible. Another point states that Azulon wasn't always evil, that he learned to be evil from Daddy Sozin. Okay, I'm not calling him that again. But Obversa doesn't actually give any specific evidence for this, so I think this is just speculation. For all we know, Azulon was always evil, it seems. The theory says that there's a parallel between Azulon and Zuko, saying that Azulon is kinda what Zuko could have become, had it not been for Iroh. And that might be true, but I think there's a better parallel. But I'll get to that. So that's the evidence. One thing the theory doesn't really explain though is his name. If Kuzon is Azulon, why is his name not Azulon? Because it's Kuzon. Why is Kuzon called Kuzon instead of Azulon? Did he change his name somewhere down the line? Or is Kuzon a pseudonym for Azulon, as much as it was for Aang? Did he, or the White Lotus, not want Aang to know his real identity? A little weird, but I like weird, so that's not an excuse. But Aang was also friends with Bumi, the Prince of Omashu, and he didn't change his name. Or did he? I guess it's possible that Bumi was also a pseudonym, and he just didn't bother telling the gang that's not actually his name, and just rolled with it. I mean, he was a mad genius, so I guess it's possible. Doesn't seem likely though. I also can't really think of any good reason why he would conceal his identity for the Avatar. Wouldn't it be more effective for diplomacy to just tell him his new friend is a Fire Lord to be? Though to be fair, he didn't seem to know about Bumi either. but he did know his real name, so I guess that little detail was to be revealed later. But why a fake name? So I don't think Kuzon is actually a Zulon. But I also don't think this theory is bad either. It's just incomplete. It tried to come to a conclusion too soon. There's more to it. The theory tries to draw a parallel between Kuzon and Bumi. But what if the parallel is actually between a different member of the White Lotus? What if the parallel we should be looking for is between Kuzon and Iroh? And to be fair, the post does actually mention this. It's just not the main theory. Namely, maybe Kuzon isn't a Zulon, but his older brother. It would explain pretty much everything. The name thing, for example, wouldn't be a thing at all. It's not a fake name, it's just his name. Also, one of the big pieces of evidence against the Kuzon is a Zulon theory is that the Zulon was actually born after Aang went into hibernation, meaning he wasn't actually a thing when Kuzon had already been a thing for like 10 years. But this is solved if Kuzon is a Zulon's older brother, because then it's not weird at all that he was already alive before Aang went into hibernation. Yes, I'm gonna keep calling it that, because that's basically what it is. Now, there is another point that could be considered evidence against Kuzon being Fire Nation royalty. Because even though we don't get to see Kuzon in the actual show, there is a comic called Dragon Days, which is published in a book called The Lost Adventures. And in that comic, Aang reminisces back to an adventure he had back in the day with his friend Kuzon. And so we get to see Kuzon. And if all goes well, he should pop up right about here. The thing is that this kid doesn't really look like royalty, does he? But that's not a deal breaker to me, because in the show we do get to see Bumi when he was a kid. And he didn't look royal either. He looked like a mad genius kid. But not royalty, so I can give that one a pass. So I believe that Kuzon is a parallel to Iroh, in that he was first in line for the throne, and because of that, the White Lotus made him befriend Avatar Aang. But Kuzon's little brother, Zulon, was evil, kinda like his dad Sozin, his son Ozai, and his granddaughter Azula. And like we saw with Iroh, and actually Zuko too, Kuzon had a younger sibling who wanted to be Fire Lord, but couldn't because Kuzon was first in line. So Zulon had to get Sozin to pass Kuzon and give the title to him. Now this is of course speculative, but it wouldn't be the first time this happens in that family. Or actually it would, as far as we know. Just not the first one we see, because that's exactly what happened later between Iroh and Ozai, and it's also what happened between Zuko and Azula. So why would it not have happened before? Remember also what Azulon said when Ozai suggested to pass Iroh and make him Fire Lord instead. He told Ozai to kill Zuko. Does that sound like a loving grandfather to you? Not to me. To me that sounds like someone who actually could have done that exact same thing. But if he did, he must have done something to somehow get Kuzon out of the way. What did he do? Did he kill his brother? Wouldn't put it past him. Not in the slightest. But not necessarily. Because in the other cases, Iroh and Zuko are still alive while their sibling becomes Fire Lord. So that doesn't traditionally seem to be their solution. Or maybe they just saw what happened to Kuzon and decided that was a bad idea. But if Kuzon was still alive at the time of Azulon's reign, then I think we would have probably seen him at some point. Or at least he should have gotten some reference somewhere. So I think he probably did die before he could make any real mark. But the question is, did Azulon kill him, or did he die like in battle? Well, what do you think? Let me know down below. Anyway, that's enough childhood ruining for today. Time for the YouTube thing. You know the drill, right? If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or corrections, you can let me know down below. If you like the video, you can click that like button, also below, and go to my channel to find more of this nerdiness. And while you're there, please subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell, so YouTube remembers to actually let you know when I upload a new video. Also, please share the video with your friends, or enemies, anyone who might like it really. And you can find a link to the original theory and my social pages down below. And now, thanks for watching.